Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goddess interview series featuring 21 top women experts on overcoming obstacles, negative limiting beliefs, and how they stepped into their power and became the successes they are today. I am your host, Kimberly Anderson. I'm an intuitive transformational coach and business creative, and I love teaching people how to tap into their intuition and trust it, releasing those negative limiting beliefs so that they can step into their power and become the goddesses that they are. Woo! I'm super excited to introduce to you today Melanie Pedersen. She is a low-carb coach, certified personal trainer, certified behavior change specialist, and runs a low-carb keto bakery. That is very cool. She is passionate about transforming lives in mind, body, and spirit. She helps people break free of negative mindsets, identification of limiting beliefs and barriers to success, and ultimately achieving the life they've dreamed of and deserve. Melanie believes that with the right support, motivation, momentum, knowledge, and action, which is a key one, there's no limit to what a person can achieve. She believes that their inner size to be done before nutrition and exercise can harness their full power and potential. Wow, I love that word, inner size. First, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. You have a profound story of transformation. I'm super excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, so share with us what do you do more than what I read? I mean, you have a great bio that I read, but what is it about what you do that?
So, like you said, my name's Melanie Pedersen. I own Center for Low Carb Living, and I am a low carb keto coach. I'm a certified personal trainer. I have a low carb keto bakery. I have online courses, a bunch of challenges, a whole lot of great things to offer my clients. I hold a bachelor's degree in kinesiology with a minor in nutrition, and I'm also a certified health coach and a certified behavior change specialist. So I have a lot of tools under my belt. But what the problem was is that I wasn't in a place mentally and emotionally to care enough about myself to use those tools. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in when we talk about the obstacles. But what I do is I educate, I inspire, and I motivate my clients to improve their quality of life. I share what I've learned through my own journey, but also what I've learned through various healing retreats I went to, seminars, all my certification programs. And really, I use every single tool that I used to lose over 100 pounds in 15 months, which was a complete transformation, not only on the outside, but the inside. So if you think the outside's looking good, ladies, you should see me on the inside.
Yeah, I love it. Wow. That's powerful that what was it about all your certifications and so forth, realizing that you weren't using those tools that you were sharing with the world that you weren't using on yourself? I love that you made that distinction.
It was a hard, honestly, realization to come to because I'm so hard on myself. I'm very type A and I'm an overachiever, A+ student. And I'm thinking, I know what I need to know. I know when to do it, why, how, all these things. But the motivation wasn't there because I didn't like myself. I hated myself at my very core. If I'm going to be very honest and raw with you, I got to the point where I was suicidal right before I chose to change my direction and shift my energy, because it was either take my life or take my life back. And I'm a mother and I'm a wife and I've got lots of friends and clients, and I thought that's unfair to me, and it's also unfair to the people that love me. And it was that pivotal moment when I kind of woke up and went, hey, I need to love myself enough to do something different. And mind you, at the time I hated myself and my negative self-talk was so bad. If I told my husband what was going through my mind, it would make him cry. It was very self-abusive. It was a lot of self-harm just emotionally. And once I understood that this right here between my ears, all that chatter and all those thoughts were causing me to get in such a low space, I started fighting back. I started using the tools that I had learned at the retreats, clinics, all my certifications, and bada bing, bada boom. I don't want to sit and say weight loss is easy, because it's not. It is a chore. But I can tell you from firsthand experience, when I started cleaning up those thoughts, the fat started falling off. And yes, I was working out, and yes, I had good nutrition, but it was this here that really made the biggest difference.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. And we could probably have a week's worth of conversation just on that.
Indeed, it's so important, and people don't understand that. I thought I could just go to school and get my 4-year degree, and I would just know everything and know it. There's the knowledge, and then there's the action, and then there's the caring and respecting yourself enough to get that momentum and that consistency in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think all that we've talked about leads into your biggest obstacle. From my perspective, it sounds like we're covering it, but share with us, was that your biggest obstacle? Was the mindset and the weight, or share with us what it is?
It was indeed my biggest obstacle, was defeating that inner critic that was causing so much harm, not only to me, but when we feel ugly on the inside, that ugly pours out to everyone else.
Mhm.
I was so
Absolutely.
angry. I was so vicious. I did not want to be around myself. And I'm sure it was tough for my family too. And so, like I said earlier, to lose that 100 pounds in the 15 months, I really had to get a grip and defeat though that inner critic that had caused me to hit rock bottom and caused me to want to take my life.
Yeah.
And what I did, like I said, to overcome that inner critic was I developed that mantra. I love myself enough to do something different, even when it felt like complete bullcrap. I had to keep repeating it.
Right.
And eventually it clicked. And I was like, I do love myself. And I was able to look at myself in the mirror because for a long time I couldn't. I kid you not, Kimberly, I would not look in a mirror. I wouldn't even make sure my face was okay. I couldn't handle it. And so it, like I said, it felt
Wow.
awkward in the beginning, but when I started adding positive reading material, like Louise Hay and Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, all those great sources, and then getting on YouTube while I was walking or running, and getting that information absorbed at all times and just not letting myself crash again. Like I knew at all costs what rock bottom felt like, and I didn't want that. That was scary. So it was like that constant drive to make sure I was healthy in my mind so that my body would follow suit. I think just fighting back. I guess here's a good tip for everybody that's having problems there, is every time I had a negative thought, and goodness gracious, I had a ton, I would think two positives immediately. I didn't care what it was. If it was just something simple like, it's sun shining out today, and my ankles aren't swelling, or something just silly, right? If it I didn't have anything, but it was fighting back and overcoming and making sure that anytime my mind went south, I picked it right back up.
That is so huge and so important. I was just on a podcast and we were talking about being just sitting in gratitude because it instantly changes your perception and it
Sure.
instantly changes your mindset. And there's
Exactly.
so much power in that. And I love
Oh,
that you
for
shared
sure.
that.
I learned firsthand that fear, negativity, all the grief, sadness, guilt, shame, they cannot exist at the same time as gratitude and love. And I was very lacking on those two key elements. So as soon as I started bringing gratitude and love more into my life, that negative critic like hit the road. It was awesome. And I didn't have to fight too hard.
That's awesome. I love this. That is so good. I'm going to go back and ask you, I mean, because you're so beautiful and you're so tiny now,
Thank
you
you.
know, and I realize it's just the physical sense of you because your inner beauty that's just coming across the
Thank
camera
you.
as well. But I'm curious, what was the weight gain side of it? What was, let's start with on that side of it. And I'd love to hear you share about that.
So I'm 5'1", so I am pretty tiny. And I ballooned up to 253 pounds on this 5'1" frame. I just started losing myself, and I had gotten married and I started having children. And as most of us women, we put ourselves on the back burner, and we get to us maybe sometime and maybe never at all. And that's what started to happen. And as I put on more and more physical weight, I had tied my worth and my value to my physical size, which if I could go back and tell myself one thing is like, no, 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 your worth and value isn't a clothing size, and it is not how big you are. It is not that number on the scale, but I didn't know, right? I didn't know better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I lost a little bit of weight just desperately. I was tired of hiding in my husband's clothes and tired of going to the store and crying because I couldn't find anything that fit or didn't feel sexy and feminine. So I started my keto journey at about 232 pounds, and I got down to maybe 129-ish or so. And I felt I was getting too little, because I don't want to put a stigma out there that people need to be real thin. That is not what I am trying to promote. I want to promote health and wellness. And so I put the stop on it and said, okay, this is it. And I had a bunch of loose skin. And I recently had abdominoplasty to take that off, which is an experience for sure, but it's so freeing. I have to tell you that I was stretching my skin. I'll have to share some pictures with you, but it's like this extra being on you. And it represented to me all that pain, all that negativity that I had put myself through. As I was wearing it, it felt so dense and so yucky. And I was finally able to get the procedure done, and they took 5 pounds of extra skin off my stomach.
Wow.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Gone, never coming back, and it's freedom. And just one more thing for me to remind myself that it's super important to keep myself healthy and well in my mind at all times.
Absolutely. Wow, that's incredible. And like, I'm imagining feeling that and knowing that you just can't wait to get rid of that. And it's a extreme procedure, but it's a simple procedure at the same time, in a sense, but the emotional attachment to that and that letting go, powerful.
Yes, I can tell you, quite honestly, waiting for my procedure to start, there was a point where my husband was sleeping and I was looking out the window and I thought, I'm going to jump out that window. Like, this is just too scary. I don't know what's going on. And you're right. It's like the attachment to that pain, for as sick as that sounds, it's like, well, that's mine, right? And I obviously went through with the procedure, but now looking back at it, it's like, no, that was my final goodbye to that piece of my life. And really, if we want to soar and we want to be the best we can be, we have to be willing to let go of those things that are dragging us down. And I think that a lot of us get comfortable with that or in that space. And I was like, nope, just bye, see you later. And just healing through it. It's just another part of the process.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. It's incredible. It's such an incredible story and journey. And, it's interesting. You see these big stories on TV or social media where people, they gain the weight, however they gain the weight, and then they have this massive weight loss and they become health coaches. But it's more than that. It's this whole mindset thing. Like, I love what you said, inner size. That's awesome terminology. I love that. And it's so powerful to share that side, because oftentimes we just hear about the exercise or the type of dieting or this or that or the other thing. And you're taking all of that and piecing it together.
It's huge, because I'll be honest with you, I've been a certified personal trainer since 2010. So I was thin then, and then I got really big, and I'm thin now. So I've been that trainer that was thin and fit, and I got really unhealthy, and I got thin and fit again. So what makes me the best, in my opinion, is the fact that I've walked in those shoes. I've been that woman that's been shamed, made fun of, afraid to go out in public, hiding, isolating, like all those negative, nasty things. Like, I've been there. I can walk right alongside with my clients and hold their hand, and they can trust that I'm not just reading from a textbook that I read, And I think the other thing too, for me, was just the realization that it isn't all about the nutrition and the exercise. I mean, certainly those are important, but you are going to have a hell of a time being successful if you don't clear up what's getting you blocked in the first place, whether it's those limiting beliefs, whether it's fear that's holding you back, whether it's not being confident or being in just a negative mindset in general. That food is not going to be as nutritious to you as it would if you were healthy and happy and eating that food in joy. And then the same thing with moving your body. If it's exercise you can't stand, your body knows that. It feels, it knows what's going on up here. So for me, if I would have went back, and what's funny, I'll share this with you, is when I was going to college for my kinesiology degree, I had to take some soc and some psych, and I hated them. I was like, I just want to get these psych classes over with. This is the worst part of this. I'm not interested, right? So I opened a wellness center, and I'm starting to train clients and do group exercise, and they give me their food record. I'm like, what in the hell is this? Like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you paying me this, ungodly amount of money if you're just going to go to McDonald's or the donut shop or what are you doing, girl? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I found is it's that psychology first. I should have majored in psychology and minored in kinesiology, right? So I had it backwards. And as soon as that switch flipped, I was like, I have this. I know what to do. But did I do it? No, heck no. It took me 5 or 6 more years to really get it here. And now that I did, I can't tell you, ladies, it is so worth it to clean up the garbage you've got going on between your ears, because you can go way farther than you ever dreamed of going if you can stay positive and you can stay in love and gratitude. No joke, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you say it took you another 5 to 6 years to actually make that click.
Mm-hmm.
It's because that's the journey you needed to go on in order to be able to have that, to sit in that space and go, I've been there, I've done that, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's one of the things my husband tells me a lot, right? Because he's always like trying to coach me, right? And he'll say sometimes something to the effect of like, well, you had to go through that because someone else is going to come along and they're going to need that. And in the moment when I'm struggling, I'm like, are you trying to get punched? Right? Because I'm like, but when I sit down and I calm down, I'm like, okay, he's totally right. Every dip and high I have, someone along my journey that comes into my circle and in my tribe is going to need that information. So it's completely silly to be in a place of pity or feeling like I'm a victim or anything like that, because what I've done is I flipped the switch on that too. And it's like, okay, I'm going through this tough time. How can I look for that silver lining? What is the gift in this? What can I pull out of it that's not only going to help me, but future clients or my family or whoever it happens to be?
Yeah, I love it. Your husband's a wise man.
He is. I love him to death. But so sometimes in those moments, it's like, could you have waited like 5 minutes to tell me that? Because I might not have wanted to beat you up.
Right. I love it. It's interesting. I don't want to deflect from what you're saying. I just want to add to what you're saying here.
Too.
For myself, having gone through 20 plus years in and out of domestic violence, I was always bitter, and I held that. I really held on to that bitterness because I was mad that I felt like most of my life was robbed from me.
Yep.
It took a long time for me to figure out, and I was actually meditating, and yeah, I know, right? I love it. But I was meditating, and it clicked for me that I had to go through that in order to be able to sit in that space, hold space for others, understanding exactly what they're going through. And when you realize that, the way you can help and the gift that you have to share is so much more powerful, and literally it can be through anything and all experiences we go through. It's for us to be able to turn around and share with others, and you have an incredible story to be able to do that with.
Well, thank you. I'm more than happy to share. I think that just being in the space I was being for 8-10 years, I don't even know how long, Kimberly, it was too long. And to know that this level of happiness and joy and success was just on the other side, like maybe one more step if I would have chose to take it. I mean, could you imagine? But like you're saying, and to further add, is I needed those experiences to make me who I am today. Those are the experiences, and like yours, that made us stronger. They gave us that keen insight. It gave us that compassion, not only for ourselves, but for the people that we serve. And I think that is huge. It's like being a trailblazer, right? For instance, when I was along my journey, my personal trainer mind came up, and it used to be calories in, calories out. And I found that is not the case. But there was a week in the beginning of my journey, maybe the first couple of months, and I decided it was going to be this great idea to go run a 5K every day, right? And I'm like, woo, this is totally going to burn fat like crazy. And I was excited. I even got my 20-pound weighted vest on. I was like, I am going to smash this week. Woo, right? So I go do that. And every Sunday I would keep metrics. So I'd get on the scale, I'd do my body fat percentage, and I would do my girth measurements. So get on the scale, and it's the same. And I'm like, well, that is dumb. Okay. Well, maybe I lost a bunch of fat and put on a bunch of muscle. Okay. I'm cool with that because that means my body's smaller. All right. So I do my body comp and it's basically the same. And I'm like, I'm getting mad because I'm like,
Mhm.
I just ran like 30 miles this week. No, this is not okay. So then I do my girth measurements and they're up. And now I am in a tizzy. I am so upset because I don't know about you guys, but I don't know who is crazy enough to run a 5K every day, but this chick did it and it didn't do anything for me. And I will be honest, it was like December. So it was 2 months after I started. And I laid in bed for like 3 days because I knew that I did not need this energy around anyone else because I was so mad and I wanted to give up and I didn't
Mm.
understand it. And as I was sitting there in my little loathing and my self-pity party, isolating, it came to me. And if I want to burn fat, I need to be exercising at a lower heart rate range, 60 to 70% of my heart rate max, not all the way at the max, right? And so it clicked. And I thought, okay. And I did some calculations for myself. And so then the next week, I just like did jogging or I did interval walks or interval sprints or whatever and kept my heart rate within this little range that I'd come up with. And bam, fat flew off. And I thought, this is crazy. Okay, so I went nuts and I went all out all week the week before. And then this week I'm barely sweating and I lost 4 or 5 pounds of fat. How is that even possible? But it's
Mhm.
just things like that it was an experience and it was very painful for me. But out of that came this awesome formula that I used and I have my clients use now. So there again, the complete circle of going through really tough things that you don't understand at the time, but produce massive benefits on the other side once you're ready to accept them. Because I was not ready to accept that right away. It took me 3 days to be in a space to receive. But and that is the other thing I wanted to share with you is, so yes, I consider myself successful, but I'm human. I have
Oh, yeah.
days where I'm down in the dumps. I have days I really have to work hard to feel like, woo, all right, I got this today. So I don't want people to think that just because you've made a shift or you lost a lot of weight or whatever you've done, that it's just a given. No, this is something you constantly have to work at. You have to work yourself every single day. And going back to that inner size, the healthier you are in the mind and the nutrition that you put in your body and how you move it, that's the success at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so powerful. And I just want to touch on this again because what you were saying about you were pissed, you were angry, and then you sat pissed for 3 days before you could receive that formula and that information. But how many times have you, and I know this personally, and even so many women where we're like, okay, we're going to do this today. I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat this for a week or a month, and your body doesn't change. And
Wow.
there's so much to that on the physical sense, on the mental sense, on the psychological sense, that
It's
you have
hard.
to really sit and go, okay, I'm doing the right things, I'm making the right choices, and I'm moving forward one step at a time. And then those little adjustments like you did. I mean, I would never, maybe back in my high school days, I would have ran a 5K every day.
I'm not saying that that was the most epic fun thing ever, but I just thought in my head, I'm going to burn some fat, and it totally did not work out for me. But that's the way the universe wanted it, and I'm one of those people that I struggle listening to my intuition sometimes, and that was a time where there was an idea where my intuition was probably going, whoa, 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 and I'm like, no, we got this. Universe is like, pump the brakes, girl. We're trying to warn you. Nope, nope, don't listen.
Yeah, but it took something that would really make you mad and to stop.
Yep.
Like it stopped you in your tracks, literally for 3 days you were in bed.
Yep.
And that's when you receive that information. And I love that story. There's so many times, and you'll have to talk about that in your, in all the things that you do, that you post about too in social media, because I think that's an important piece of your story to understand that it's not just, 1 week or a couple of days or,
I
a
wish.
certain amount of time. Yeah, right. A certain amount of time that you eat healthy or do one thing. It's those little adjustments. I actually, here's how I put it one time. I take my daughter to the orthodontist, and it's to get her teeth straight. And I've never had braces, but my children have. And so for people that have had them or had their kids do it, you can fully understand this. they have a plan. So in weight loss, you have a plan, right?
Yes.
So you do these things and maybe your mouth moves, your teeth move a little bit too far here, or it winds up with a gap on this side or whatever. There's constant adjustments in order to get that end goal.
Yes.
And in weight loss and in anything, there's always those little adjustments you have to make.
I couldn't agree more. That is a very, very good euphemism for that. Honestly, I couldn't put it any better myself.
Thank you. Yeah, it just occurred to me one day when I was taking her there, and I was like, wait, this is just like business, and this is just like this. But it actually makes a lot of sense in the weight loss space because we have this idea, we're going to get there, this is how we're going to do it, and we're not going to change. And then we wind up defeated and upset because we didn't achieve those goals, and we give up. And then oftentimes you gain even more weight back.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You get out the ice cream. You're like, I'm not doing anything ever. You're sitting on the couch. Yeah. It's the pity party that sets in. Right. And I think that it's so common for all of us. And I'm not going to say that there wasn't many times in my 100-pound loss journey that I wanted to give up, because you have to remember when I started keto in 2017, it wasn't big. Like there was no fancy trackers on your phone. There was like, if there was anything low carb, it tasted like cardboard, you probably would have been better off eating the box or the bag. And so I was calculating macros by hand. I actually still have all of those. I'm gonna bring those out the next time I speak and show people, like, this is real. This was really pissing me off to have to sit here and figure out what do I need for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks that fit this little macro bubble I was in. And in the beginning, I wasn't giving myself enough food. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm hungry, I am a very cranky individual. Actually, here, I'm gonna show you something. I found this. I'm sorry about what I said when I was hungry.
There's a
This
bite
is
mark
real
out of
for
it.
Melanie. And so for the longest time, I was like, this sucks. I don't want to be hungry. This is the most terrible thing on earth. And so through those little adjustments and tweaking things here and there, I finally found my sweet spot for getting enough to eat. So I felt satiated, getting enough for the energy, because I did start to exercise like every single day and hardcore. And I needed to fuel my body. And I think one of the things about weight loss that a lot of people don't understand is that you have to feed your body, especially if you're going to be working out. Your body needs those proteins. It does need those fats and some of those carbohydrates so it can rebuild itself. And you don't want to be wasting away your muscle for the sake of keeping that fat, because the muscle is more delicious, I guess to say, for your body in terms of fuel. And if you are not eating enough, I'm sorry, ladies, but it's going to show. You might be getting smaller, but you're going to be squishy. Nobody wants squishy, right? So it was a bunch of different things that came together. And thank goodness I had the education that I do, the kinesiology and the nutrition, but it was not easy. And I'll be honest, after I got done losing the weight, I thought, oh man, maintenance is going to be crazy awesome. I just have to eat a few more carbs, eat a few more calories. We're all good. Oh, hell no. Oh my gosh, you guys. Being in maintenance was way tougher than losing the weight, because I had that dialed in. I had that. And this was a whole new ball game. Like you're saying, it's new, it's unknown. What does this look like, and what's going to work, and all this kind of stuff, because there isn't a cookie cutter approach to weight loss. Every single person's different. Right. So when my clients come to me and they're like, well, I want a meal plan and I want this, I'm like, I will tell you what you can eat and general things that are going to be really good for you, but I am not going to sit and tell you what to eat. You have to have some skin in the game. You need to educate yourself. You need to be able to eat anywhere. Go to any grocery store and pick up what you need. And originally they're really mad at me for the first 2 weeks. And then after that, they're like, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm so able to go and do whatever I need to do. And I'm like, see, you just have to not want to kill me for 2 weeks.
Yeah. You know what? I love that you're doing that, because what you're doing is you're giving them back the power. You're empowering them to make their choices. And I see that a lot of times where people are exactly what you said. Here's me, fix me.
Yeah.
They have no skin.
Sorry. I mean,
they take no responsibility for it. And so for you to switch that and say that you need to go and be able to do this yourself is huge. You're empowering them, and I love that.
Yes. So I think that once they first kind of hit that wall of what, you're not going to tell me what to do, when to do it, why to do it, how to do it. I just have to go do it. They're
Mhm.
like, oh, hey, I do have control. I do have power. I can do this. And so I've dubbed myself the pint-sized pain in the ass, because that's kind of what my clients need, is they need someone to push them just a little bit out of their comfort zone, whether they come to me for the keto coaching or the personal trainer, whatever it happens to be. It's like, I have the knowledge they need and I will freely give that to them. But if they're kind of planting their feet and they're unsure, they're scared, oh, here comes the pain in the ass, right? And that's like my favorite part of this, is because that's where transformation happens. That's where the lights start going off, and that's where the action and the magic happens. And if they'll get past being mad at me for a little bit, it's like the mask comes off and the emotional weight starts coming off. And that's really where it starts, is that emotional weight. Once I cleared a lot of that out, it's like the physical weight just took care of itself. And that is, again, not to say that weight loss is easy, because it is not. But I will tell you, it's a hell of a lot easier if you get rid of that emotional pain and that emotional weight. Because guess what, guys? I view that extra weight that we're carrying around, that's pain. That's pounds of pain, people. And a lot of that starts here. Some of it isn't even real pain. It's just stuff that's been passed down to us from parents, or false ideologies we took on, or maybe abuse from a partner, or whatever it happens to be in your environment that you took on as the truth. And that is another thing I love working with people on, is discerning what's true for you and what's bullshit. And
Yeah.
at that point, it's like you can just feel the energy. You can I don't know, I don't want to sound psychotic, but it's kind of like I can feel it just melting off them. And right now, as I'm talking to you about it, my heart is just getting so full. And it brings me so much joy to know that, one, I was able to do that for me, but now I'm able to share that and help countless other people achieve that as well. And that is so much freedom.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
have an explanation for it. You're just gonna feel it and trust me on this one.
No, you're feeling the energy. I love that. I think that's awesome. So you touched on this earlier, and I want to just touch on it again. And you
Sure.
said that if you would tell your younger self one thing, and I know you were mentioning something about that, but just remind us again, what would you tell your younger self if you had the chance to go back?
Oh man, do you have like 3 years? Because it's a lot. But I think the most important ones for me is that I'm valuable. I'm worthy. I have meaning. I am worthy of love, not only from myself, but from everyone around me. It is safe to love. It is safe to be loved. I would tell myself, don't settle for second best. Don't eat anybody else's shit. Like, step into my own power and speak my truth, obviously from a place of love and kindness, but to really put myself as a priority and not put up with toxic people, and to be able to set boundaries and to appreciate my body, right? And to not allow my physical health and that weight gain to come on in the first place. So basically protect my emotional health at all times. And basically just it's okay to be happy. It's safe to feel happy.
I love it. I love your energy. I love your story. I adore you. You're amazing.
Oh,
And I'm so
really? I love you
excited.
too.
I am so excited to just see how many lives you touch. It's going to be
Me too.
thousands and thousands and thousands, because your story is not just about the weight loss. And I think that's so important. And I've heard, and I've had this conversation many times about, it's not the weight. I love what you called it. It's pain. It's pain. And losing, when you clear your mind and your head, declutter all that crap from your head, it's the emotional weight leaves, and then the physical weight. And that's so powerful. And I love that you pointed that out. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your incredible story today. I think you're just amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. I can't tell you how appreciative and full of gratitude I am that I was approached to do this. I'll be honest, I was telling my husband, as we were actually driving home from Mexico when I got released from the hospital, when I got your call. And I told him right before we left, I'm like, I want to speak. Like, this is where I want to take this right now. I feel like my message could help many, many, many people, not just Southern California.
Mhm.
And bada bing, bada boom, the universe plops you right in my lap. I kid you not. We were driving through like San Diego at the time, coming home. And I got so excited. I'm getting excited now. And I thought, oh my gosh, Jamie, 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 you will never guess what just happened. Oh, and I was like, universe, thank you. My goodness, thank you. And keep it coming. So
I love it.
I am so darn grateful to you and the other women on the panel. I cannot wait to meet everybody in October and just hug and love everybody and share and celebrate successes and help people dig out of whatever they've got that's holding them down. Like, I'm ready. Put me in, coach.
I know, I'm so excited too. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.